Okay, so Be'ezer Hashem will start Daf Chav Daled. The Gemara says, Boy Rabbi Avin, Truma Sadeshen Bekama. So how much is the amount of Truma Sadeshen? So she's going to say soon what's the minimum amount. So the Gemara suggests maybe it will be one for 100 or one for 500, like we found other places. But the Gemara says, no, we learned it, Agzer Shavo, Veherim, it says over here Veherim, and it says by Mincha. It says Veherim, and it means to take it with your koimetz, as it says there, Meferash in the Pasuk, Afkan, Bekumtsoy, so the minimum amount for Truma Sadeshen is the amount of a koimetz, and of course you can take more. Okay, now we get a new sugya, and the Gemara speaks about there's 4 avoidos that Zar is chayav and the miso. Zar is not allowed to do avoidos of kohanim, but there's only 4 types of avoidos that the Zar is chayav and them miso. And according to Rav, it's zriko, any type of zriko. There's zriko on the mizbeach hachitzoin. There's zrikos which is done on the mizbeach hapnimi. There's things that you do to the paroiches, some inside the kodesh hakodashim, and sometimes it's even not blood, it's oil, like by metzoiro, and it's all included in zriko. Haktoro is anything you put on the mizbeach to burn, whether it's mizbeach hapnimi, mizbeach hachitzoin, or the kteres inside the kodesh hakodashim is all included in haktoro. Now, there's other 2 things, which is Nisuch HaMayim and Nisuch HaYayin, which they did over here on the Mizbeach. There was 2 Sfalim, one for the wine, which was every day. We know Shleisha Esroinim. Lapar or Shnei Esroinim. No, sorry. The Yayin is the Machatzi Yayin Yelapor, Shlishi Sayin La'ayil, Uvis, Machatzi Shlishi Sayin La'ayil, Uvis Sayin La'keves. So this amount of wine, which the minimum amount is 3 lugim, which is used for keves. Now, Levi says that also Truma Sadeshen, also taking the deshen off. So according to Rav, taking off can't be chayav. Why? Because really the pasuk says, in order to be chayav miso, has to have 2 qualities. One quality, it has to be avoido of finishing, v'avad detom, avoido toma, avoido of finishing. Therefore, the shchito, the kabbalah, the hoilocho is all avoidos to get to the zrika sadam and the mizbeach. So the zrika is the end avoido of it, and you only chayav for the last one. Azar that does it only chayav for the last one. And there's another thing that it says avodas matono, meaning to put on the mizbeach or to put on and not to take off. Now Levi says the avodah toma, he agrees that it goes on everything because it says ve'avodah toma, it goes on everything, but the avodah siluk, the taking off, he says applies only for the kodesh hakodashim. The taking away the machto of the kohen gadol will be patu. Rava says that the heichol, meaning cleaning the menorah or cleaning the mizbeach hazav, will also be something which will be patu, but outside Levi holds that it's chayav because the ptur of taking off applies only to inside and not to outside. Now there's another machlokes. According to Rabbi Yochanan, the bimesada the shnei gizrei eitzim, after a person is mesada the marocha, if the kohen is mesada the marocha, he also puts shnei gizrei eitzim on the marocha. According to Rabbi Yochanan, if Azar does it, it's chayav, and according to Rav, he is patur because it's not the end. The end of the avodah is not the gizrei eitzim, it's the evorim that you put on the marocha later. The Gemara says by being mesada the menorah, it's never going to be chayav. Why? Because after putting back the pieces of the menorah they took off, according to the way Rashi explains over here, there's different opinions in the Gemara, but not here. Here Rashi explains that it was taken, you can take it apart, and after you take it apart, when you put it back on, it's not chayav, because after that you have to put a wick, and after the wick you put oil, and after the oil there's the lighting, and the lighting is not an avodah. The Gemara says by the lighting of the mizbeach is considered an avodah, lighting in the mizbeach, but the lighting of the menorah not. Okay. Now the Gemara says there's a braysos like both of them that we see, that a brayso like Rav and a brayso like Levi. The Gemara says, why don't they make the pais when they're all getting there together? We're going to the payosais. They all go together, as we know, to the lishkas agazis, and they make a pais. So why do they leave the lishkas agazis and get back in? And the answer the Gemara gives is because there's an inyan to make a matzev in the azara, make noise, going out, going in. It makes a movement and it's good. So that's why we do it 4 times. So the Gemara says now a machlokes, and what clothes they wore when they did this pais. So according to Rav Nachman, they were wearing their big dechoil, because if you would say they're wearing the big dekodesh, we worry that someone that is already wearing the begodim will just walk in and do the avodah. If he's strong and no one can stop him. And according to Rav Sheshes, they do it in big dekodesh because we worried after the lottery that they'll be so excited and just run and do the avodah. So therefore, we want to make sure that they're already wearing the right clothes. The Gemara brings a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, after the lotteries, after all lotteries are done, they're giving them to the chazanim, and the chazanim will take their clothes off and leave on them only pants. So the only pants which was left on, which the Mishnah finishes with, according to everyone, it means the pants of Kodesh. It means the pants of Kodesh. It's according to Rav Nachman, it means that they would put on them the pants of Kodesh and then take off all the rest of their clothes, and then the pants would be first to wear the other clothes. According to Rav Sheshes, it means that whoever didn't win the lottery, since he was wearing the big day Kodesh, so they took everything off and left them only the Michnasayim in order for them to wear their clothes and then take it off. Okay. The Gemara says Rav Sheshes wants to prove, because it says the way he learns it, because it says that in the way it was done, the lottery, they all got into Lishkas Agazis, and one of the Memunim would say a number, and then they will take off the hat from one of the Kohanim, and then they will start the counting from them to know where the counting started. So that's the reason the Tosfos says that the reason they didn't do it in the Azara, we know that it needs to be in a Mokom Kodesh. So that's why they have to be in this part of the Lishkas Agadis, which is Mokom Kodesh, and the Zoken is Yoshev in this part, which is he's allowed to sit because this part is considered Mokom Choyel. There's different opinions if we cut it this way or we cut it this way. In the Art Scroll, they went with the opinion that we cut it this way. So the Gemara says that so that proves from the fact that he takes off a mitznefes from his head, that means they're wearing the big kodesh. But the Gemara says that's not a proof, because Kohen can come from home with a begodim which are big kodesh, and he can work with them avodas yachid. It's a very good question. It's a great question. It's a great question. Okay, so Abaye says the lishka. What? I don't know. I don't know any answers now. Now it's a sikum. It's not a shir. Abaye says lishkas agazis is half in the kodesh and half in the choil. So we see must be the lishka of lishkas agazis, in order to be half in the kodesh and half in the choil. It has to be that it has two doors, one open to the kodesh and one open to the chol. Because if you have a lishka, which is totally in the chol but it has a door to the kodesh, it's considered all kodesh. If you have a lishka which is totally in the kodesh and it will only have a door to the chol, it will be considered, all of it will be considered chol. So therefore, it has two doors, and the one to the kodesh, one to the chol, which makes half of it kodesh. So we can do the lottery between the koyanim, because it needs to be in the kodesh. And then the other half, the lishkas agazis, can sit down because it's in chol. Okay. Habayis Hasheni. After Ma'ariv, questions. Be'ezer Hashem. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah, the second pais. What's the second pais? The second pais, we have 13 koyanim. The 13 koyanim are winning a lottery of what? Of who's going to do shchita. So the way it was done that they made a pais, as the Gemara will discuss. It was one pais, and in this one pais, the way the kohen counted, and when he ended by someone, so he would win to do shchita, and the next guy would do zrika. And the guy which would do zrika, he would also do the Kabbalah. He would also be mekabel the dam, as it says in a Braisa, in a Mishnah, that he takes the dam and he takes it to the Mizbeach. Now, the third one would be mendash and Mizbeach Apnimi. He would clean off the Mizbeach Apnimi from the leftover of the Ktoires and the Gecholim from the day before. Mimedash and Esa Menoiro, a person gets to clean the Menoiro. As we saw, it has two, the 5 and then the 2. Mimale Evorim Lakevesh. So now, according to this Tano, there's a lottery who's going to put the Evorim on the Kevesh. Now, according to this Tano, they only going to put it on the Kevesh, and then there's going to be a different lottery of someone that will take it from here to here. That will be a different. Now, the way we divide the animal, so 6 kohanim get the parts of the animal. I don't have the animal here, but everyone remembers there's the Rosh. I don't need it. I don't need it. There's the Rosh and the Regel, okay, the head with the back right leg, and then Shtei Yadayim. Okay. Okay. So the first, it's not a sheep though, but the first kohen gets to put on the mizbeach the Rosh with the regel from here, the whole thing. Maybe put it this way. Now the second kohen gets shtei yadayim, the two front legs. Then the oiketz and the regel, the tail with the back left leg goes, and then hachoze ve'ageira, right? The neck with this part that comes also with the heart and the lungs and the liver, whatever is connected to it, whatever is connected to the pipe. Okay. Then the next kohen gets the shtei adfonos, the two sides, the ribs, and then the next kohen will get the kravayim, the insides of the animal. Okay, so with this we finished with that. Now the other three kohanim, one would carry the soiles, which comes with it, the chavitin of the kohen gadol. So you see that the kohen gadol doesn't have to actually bring the chavitim; he has to pay for it. It's his korban. The ayin, okay, which goes on the nesachim. So shleisha asar kohanim zachu altogether. There's 13 kohanim. Omar ben Azai ifnei Rabbi Akiva mishum Rabbi Yoshua derech hilucho yakarev. He holds that the way it was mukrav is the way the animal walks, which the Gemara goes and explains. The Gemara goes and explain how it exactly done. But just before that, the Gemara proved that the person which does shchita doesn't do the Kabbalah from the fact that Ben Katin made 12 faucets to the kiyol. So the whole 12 kohanim, the Isaac and the Tamid can be mekadesh yadayim raglayim together. So obviously the guy which is doing the shchita doesn't do kiddush yadayim raglayim since it's kosher bezar. So any person can do it. Even without Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim, you don't need to wear big dikuna even. So therefore, we see that the Zoyrek does the Zriko, the Zoyrek does the Kabbalah, and not the Shoichet. Okay. Now Ben Azai said in front of Rabbi Akiva, so we have many different opinions exactly how it goes. So he said that it's Derech Hiluchoy. So the Derech Hiluchoy, again, the head. As the Gemara said, as the Gemara will say soon, according to all opinions, the head goes first. Why? Because it says in the Pasuk, Haroish, so first the rosh and the peder. The peder is something that when you open the animal over here, it's something that comes out like a blanket. And that the Gemara says after it's cut, so you cover the cut. When you take the head, you cover the cut with the peder. There's another pasuk to say that that's the way you do it, and that goes together with the leg. The leg always comes together with the head because, according to all opinions, because the head has a lot of bones, it doesn't have a lot of meat, so the back leg accompanies. They're all in the mizbeach. Okay, no questions. Then after the Reish comes the Chazeh and the Geira, the Chazeh with all the insides, the lungs, everything that comes with the neck. Chazeh and Geira, then comes the Shtei Yadayim, that's the next in line. If you go like this, then comes the Shtei Adfonos, and then comes the Oiketz with the left leg. Okay, so that's Derech Hiluchoy. Now the Gemara says that there's another opinion. Rabbi Yossi says Derech Sheto Yokorev. So the way they used to do it, they used to hang him from his left leg like this, upside down, and then take off the skin going this way. So because they're going this way, so it's going to be that Harosh v'Regel, always the head goes first, but then comes the Oiketz in the Regel, which is the other leg, and then Shtei Adfonos, and then the two sides, and then Shtei Yadayim, and then Achazeh v'Ageiro, because we go this way, because the way they take off the skin is going from the back of the animal towards its head. Now, this is the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Akiva says, Derech Nituchoy Yaakov, the way they cut him off. So, Ketzah Derech Nituchoy, again, the Rosh and the Regel always goes first, then they will take off the two hands, then the Chaz and the Geiro, then the two Tfonos, then the Oiketz and the Regel. Rabbi Yossi, Omer, the Derech Iluyoy, whatever is more Chashuv, he would go. So, again, Rosh and Regel goes first, then the Chaz and the Geiro, then the two Tfonos. The Gemara explained that according to Rabbi Yossi, we go by the fatty meat. So the chazan the gero goes first, then the two tfonos, then the iketz and the regel, and the two hands. The Gemara says that according to our Tana of our Mishnah, he goes by the size. So the Gemara asks that in our Mishnah, it seems to be that the Tana of our Mishnah, he said that the regel, the hands come before the back leg. The Gemara says, it says in the pasuk, yerech v'kotef, the thigh is fatter than the shoulder. So the Gemara answers that this pasuk means if the animal is kachush, it didn't eat well, it's skinny, so then the yerech is, the thigh has more fat to it than the shoulder, but the kolbonos, as Tosis points out, he brings from Perik HaShoichet, he says that it was the fattest, so therefore it's of course that the tmidim, the leg had less than the shoulder, therefore the hands come first. Okay. What? Okay, no, that was two daf. Okay, so that was Chaf Daled and Chaf Hey. So now, because we're going into Friday, so maybe we'll do Chaf Vav, just to get a head start, so we won't be too much in back. Okay, the Pais HaShlishi. So what's the Pais HaShlishi? In the third Pais, they said whoever is new and never did Ketores in his life before should come and do Pais. And the fourth one was whoever didn't do, and also the new ones and the old ones should come and make a lottery who's going to get to take the evorim from the kevesh and put it on the mizbeach. What's the reason that they didn't let people do Ketores twice? Is because Ketores make a person rich. So everyone wanted to get a chance. And some Mefarshim say they don't want to make the people too rich. So the Kohen Gadol had the opportunity to do it many times because he was supposed to be very rich. Okay, now the Gemara says that the reason that Ketores makes rich, even though it says in the pasuk also Kalil, which means the oilo should also make rich, because Ketores is less common. The Gemara brings then that if a person, you want to see a person which is mechaven la'alacha, he knows how to take halacha out of the sugya and he gets the halacha like him, he comes either from Shevet Levi or from Shevet Yisachar. The Gemara says from Shevet Yehuda, also they were rabbis and teachers and dayanim, but to be mechaven la'alacha from the sugya, that is unique to Shevet Levi or Shevet Yisachar. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan says that we don't make a pais on the Tomid of Bein HaArbaim. The Kohen which was Zoich in the morning gets to do it at night. The Gemara says that there's a question, that it says not like that we also make a lottery, meaning not at night, in the afternoon, we make a lottery. So the Gemara says that's on Shabbos, because on Shabbos we know that in the morning it is one mishmal, and in the afternoon it's a different mishmal, so they have to make a new lottery. The Gemara says that our Mishnah is not like Rab Lezer ben Yaakov. Rab Lezer ben Yaakov says that the people who put the Ivorim on the Kevesh, they are the same people to put it on the fire. We don't make up different lotteries. The Gemara says, what's the machlokes? The Tana that says that we make another lottery, our Tana, he holds it Beroi v'Amad Ras Melech. We want to get more people to be involved. And Rab Lezer ben Yaakov says that's all good, not when you're dealing with going mamish working in the mizbeach, and then some people put it on the mizbeach and then leave, and then another person comes. That doesn't look good. That looks like the first people had enough and they just left. Okay. Rava says that Rab Lezer ben Yaakov fourth lottery of Rab Lezer ben Yaakov is on the machto. That the second, there's a kohen which gets to do the Ketores, and there's another coin that comes with the machto to help him out, so it doesn't go like Rabbi Yudo, who holds that there wasn't a pais to the machto. And if you find a Tana that holds that there was 5 pai also, so he doesn't hold like both of them, so there's a pais also to take the volume up, and also for the machto, that makes 5. Okay, now the Gemara points out that the Tommy, the regular amount of kohanim that we need in a regular day is 13 altogether, as we saw earlier, but from the Eivorim and on, there's 9. Sometimes there will be 10, sometimes 11, sometimes 12, but never more. How is it possible to get to these numbers? So the the Talmud itself uses non-Kohanim, and on Sukkot, one person has a tzloichis of mayim, so that makes 10. And ben arbaim, every day there's 2 Kohanim carrying the shnei gizrei eitzim, that makes it 11. And on Shabbos, there's shnei bazichia levoino of the lechem aponim that comes, and together in the Chag, so then we have also the water, so that makes it 12. So the Gemara says from here we see that there's no tzloichis of mayim. When you do the nisuch hamayim on Sukkot, it's only in the morning and not in the afternoon. The Gemara then brings a proof from the fact, the famous story with the guy that did nisuch hamayim, and he poured the water on his legs, and everyone threw on him their etroigim. So you see that it was in the morning, when people still have their etroigim. The Gemara says, how do I know? In the morning, there's one kohen which brings the 2 gizrei eitzim to put on the mizbeach. How do I know that in the afternoon it's 2? So the Gemara says, because in the morning it says ubir alei kohen eitzim v'boiker ve'orach, right? It says ubir, and then in the afternoon it says ve'orchu kohanim, which is an extra pasuk, which it doesn't say that it's going in the afternoon just because it's extra, so we put it on the afternoon. And we don't say that they're both in the morning, because then it would say the same word, either ubiru, or ve'orach ve'orchu, and it says one ubir, one ve'orchu, so we understand one goes to the afternoon. Okay, fine. Then we have a Mishnah that says that until now we saw how many kohanim you need for a keves or a goat. For that you need 9 kohanim. For an ayil, you need 11 kohanim, and for an ox, you need 24 kohanim. The Gemara says that's only when we're talking about korbanos tzibur. So then we give all the kohanim an opportunity to join, but if a person brings a korban yachid, one kohen can do the whole thing if he wishes. And the hefshet and nituach of korbanos is also something that can be done with azar. You don't have to be a kohen to take off the skin of the animal or to cut it before it goes on the mizbeach. Okay. So yesterday we left on Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. The Gemara proved that the Mishnah that says that the wall of the Mizrach of Har HaBayis was low must have been like Rab Lezer ben Yaakov. The Gemara says maybe it was because it's the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda, because according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Mizbeach was centered in the middle of the middle of the Azara, and therefore it blocks the petach of the heichal. So therefore you have to make that wall low, in order that the kohen can see above the mizbeach into the petach of the heichal. The Gemara said that would work with Rabbi Yehuda, but when it talks about the size, it says that from here to here it's 187, and so the Gemara says there's 22 until the mizbeach, then 22 from the mizbeach to the step, from the mizbeach to the ulam. There's 22. Then this is 100. This is another 11. So, what? No charts. In his shir, he has charts. This is not a shir. No questions, no charts, no demonstrations. I don't know who brought this. So the Gemara says, okay, so that can still work with Rabbi Yehuda, but when it says over here, from here to here, it's 135, so it comes out that it says the Mizbeach is 62, then there's over here, what does the Gemara say? Over here there's, until the Tabois, there's 8, then the Tabois is another 24, the Tabois, the Shulchanos is 4, the Shulchanos to the Nanasim is another 4, and from the Nanasim to the wall is another 8, and the rest, whatever is left, you share between here and between the Nanasim and the Shulchanos, which it didn't say how much it is. So it leaves here only 10.5 max, and the Gemara will say, so you see that it can be the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, which said that the Mizbeach was centered, so obviously it's not Rabbi Yehuda, so that goes back to our answer that Rab Lezer ben Yaakov. So Rashi just points out that according to Rab Lezer ben Yaakov held that the whole Mizbeach is in the Dorim. So it wasn't 10.5, it was only 5.5 over here. Okay, the other answer we already saw to the stira. We're out of time here? We're out of time. Okay, so where's the chazan? Yeah, should I continue? Okay. He says I can continue. Okay, so according to Rav Ado, Breder Rav Yitzchok says that the lishko over here, which we spoke about, this lishko where the tloim were, so it was here and it was just a long lishko. It wasn't a short one like it says, like it shows in this picture. So therefore, when the Tana came from here, it looked to him like it's in this corner, but when the Tana came from here, it looked like it's in this corner, but we're really talking it's in the same place. And the Gemara says that must be true because the lishko of lechem aponim, it says in the midos that it's here. And the Gemara asks that on Tomid, it comes out, that it will come out over here, because if you go in a circle like this, that is going towards Yamin, you're going to end up over here. The Gemara says no, that the Tana and Tomid goes clockwise, and he ends over here with the lishka of lechem aponim, and the Tana of Midos goes counterclockwise, and therefore also the place of lechem aponim is over here. Okay, so the Gemara says, but how can he go clockwise? Clockwise is not going yamin, and we know everything you have to go to yamin. The Gemara says that's only in an avodah, but not when it's chush beno be'almo. Okay, so we got to the halacha of Kohen Gadol, which is noitel chalek v'roish. Yeah, no, you will? Okay, we'll stop here. Have a good Shabbos.